Let me take you back to a time before 1-4 dropped the message and hip-hop in Australia wasn't on everyone's radar. The scene had been in a bit of a rut. OB's records had just ended and acts like Illy, Thundamentals and Horror Show had established themselves as top-tier artists and were selling out bigger shows and were far past being underground. Trap music was dying out and there was a spot in the scene for someone to grab it and make it theirs. A few acts were making noise. The likes of Chillin' It, Nerve, Wombat and Husky were all on the come up. Instead of competing for that one spot, they all came together and put on one of the best lineups in Australian hip hop history. This is the brief history of the legendary Get Bodied festival. Can you picture going to a festival today and having a lineup like this? Mitchos de Menace, Alex Jones, Talakai, Chillin' It, Lil Snow, Husky, Nerve, Shadow, Son of Sam, Wombat, Forte, Mac the Villain, Triple One, Trill, That Kid Curvy. Just to name some of the artists, that lineup would be insane today and you would happily pay $200 to $300 a ticket. Believe it or not, there was a time when all those acts actually come together for a festival. But how did they come together? It was around the time of 2017, you could feel there was a big change coming in the scene, where all different artists from all states and territories were making noise. It felt like they were all headed in the same direction, yet none of them had much guidance or experience to take it to the next level. On the west coast, you had the South African-born Shadow dropping tracks like Bars for Them and It Don't End. You had Wombat taking things to a new level, coming straight out of Tasmania. In Queensland, you had Nerve, Scrub and the No One Network not only making good music, but expanding on the Brisbane hip-hop scene and making their presence felt. And in New South Wales, mainly Sydney, you had a new set of rappers from all different suburbs making waves yet not connecting with each other yet. The likes of Curvy, Chillin' It, Husky, Talakai and Triple One. With the amount of talent I just named, you could see Sydney soon becoming Australia's hip-hop hub. I think one of the key factors into making this festival happen was Body Bag Media. It was started by a guy named Brendan Bagwell in 2017. He already had great filming and editing skills and was filming under his name, Brendan Bagwell, but decided to put an identity behind his visuals. He even set up a studio in his parents' garage so artists could have easier access without having to pay big money. 360 was the biggest rapper in Australia at the time and everyone was jumping on his wave. But Bagsy wanted to showcase the street-style underground rappers that didn't have a platform to show their talents. He began recording one-takes from artists like Sevar and Currents One. He was doing decent numbers, but it wasn't until he linked up with Husky and recorded his one take, which now has just short of 1 million views. This is where the scene really started to lay eyes on Body Bag Media. He also linked up with Chillin' It, who had been on a hiatus for a few years. They then recorded a one take, and Chillin' It and Talakai's Get Bodied Part 2, which done massive numbers. Other artists that come through for one takes were acts like TKO, Fracture, Trill, Luxury and Jagada. Bagsy then decided to introduce a new series called Body the Booth. This went crazy. Chillin' It, Trill, Talakai and even Nerve from Brisbane all had their turns, but it was Husky who took it to another level. His Body the Booth now sits on 5 million views on YouTube. This was all in 2017 and Body Bag Media was now becoming some sort of hub for any hip hop artists to come through and showcase their skills to the world. It was also a place where artists from all over the country would link up together for the first time. It wasn't just Sydney that was making noise. There were a lot of artists from all states and territories doing their thing, but two MCs really stood out the most. Brisbane's Nerve and Tasmania's Wombat. Grime was a big thing at the time, and around 2017 and early 2018, Fracture would often host grime cyphers with all sorts of artists from around the country to show their skills. He would get everyone together. Acts like Scotty Hines, Alex Jones, Shadow, Dime, Nerve and Wombat would all link up and spit bars over grime beats. These cyphers done great numbers and the fans loved them. But it was Nerve and Wombat who really wanted to put their music onto tracks and take their careers to another level as well as participate in these cyphers. They started dropping tracks together like Back to Back and On Lock, and their numbers started rising quickly. But it was their tracks Survival and Run That which started to make their presence felt in the scene. Then in 2017 they dropped a collaboration EP together titled Night Shift. It's strictly grime beats and definitely threw their hat in the ring to becoming two of the best MCs in the country. While Perth already had a very healthy existing hip-hop scene with artists like Complete, Cogs and Omac doing their thing, it was Shadow who was jumping on grime tracks and really gaining the attention of the rest of the scene. Being born in South Africa, coming from a struggling upbringing and moving to Australia at a young age, his back was already against the wall, but he seemed to thrive under that sort of pressure and make a name for himself. He would also appear in Fractious grime ciphers and bring something to the table no one else was offering at the time. He would also link up with Bodybag Media and record a One Take and Body the Booth, which done extremely well. Through Bodybag Media, he would also start to link up more with artists from other states and territories like Chillinet and Husky. He was also dropping solo tracks like Cream and My City, and linked up with Chillinet for their massive track School High, which now has nearly 6 million views on YouTube. Now there was a variation of young artists from all across the country really putting in work and creating a buzz, but they needed some sort of guidance and experience to take them to the next level and come together. While Chillinet had already tried his hand at rapping previously, dropping some decent tracks on Hustle Hard TV, but it never fully took off for him like he'd hoped. So instead of continuing, he decided to take a few years off rapping and sit back and analyse the scene from a distance and plan his next move. He then come back sharper and wiser than ever, linking up with Talakai and Bodybag Media and dropped his infamous Get Body tracks, which had punchlines for days and got his name out there again quickly. He seemed to be hungrier than ever this time and had a drive to expand not only his career but show Australia what this fresh crop of young rappers had to offer. I think Chillinet stood out the best from this era as he dropped countless good tracks like Rap Zombie, Running Bars Part 2, Who I Am, Wish You Well and always had great momentum. He then blew everyone away with his track One Breath, One Take, which now has over 70 million streams across all platforms. He seemed to be the glue, making connections and relationships with all these artists, doing tracks and shows with everyone from Wombat to Nerve to Husky to Shadow. From the outside looking in, you could see Chillinet had a vision and could see the bigger picture on how all these artists could get together and profit from the great music they were making.
The energy and what they brought on stage and the way they performed and that, you know, that crew element, that new young crew wave movement, and they were all documenting it because those boys were all in a van kicking it together. You know, coming up the East Coast, you know, driving together and just like the fuckery and all the, you know, mucking around that you could see getting documented. And that kind of, I think, brought back that ground level of just being young with your crew and just riding it out.
Yeah, run a mark.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Chill was a big spearhead of that. You know, his energy and what he represented, you know, was trying to pull that all together and really get everyone to be pushing this movement, you know. And because he was the older one of the group, and you know he'd been doing his thing on Hustle Hard for a while, and yeah, so it was cool to watch and be witness to it, and then document a little bit of it too.
Yo, what's going on, people? Get Bodied tour, we're nearly done. It's been one of the craziest experiences I've ever had, and every artist on the tour can vouch for it. I speak for all of us when I say thank every single one of you. I want to personally thank the homie right here, Bodybag Media. Some of you don't even know this is him. This is the guy. This is the motherfucker behind the film, behind the lens. I just want to thank him. He's made this, you know, so great for all you guys to be able to experience it and watch it from first hand yourself. And next year we got the movie with all your favorite artists, all your favorite Bodybag people are going to be in that. Behind the scenes, look at what we've done this year. It's crazy. But this Friday is the last chance you're going to get to see us all this year. There's me, there's Talakai, there's Husky, there's Nerve and Scrub playing together as the Syntax Junkies, there's Mesk, there's Synth, Mac the Villain, Bodybag's gonna be there. It's gonna be crazy. You know how we do, so please get down there if you're in Brisbane. We'll be giving out free merch, we'll be selling the merch, we'll be fucking moshing, going crazy, smoking pot. We'll be doing it all, man. We'll be doing it all. So please get down. Thanks.
In 2018, it was announced that there would be a one-day/night festival put on by all the best up-and-coming artists from all over the country. The goal was to bring everyone together and showcase their talent. By all reports, it was mainly helped organised by Chillinet, the 420 family, Bodybag Media and Bass Cadet. The list of artists on the bill is incredible, and tickets were only $20 to $40 and meet and greets were $50. For all these artists to do a festival now would easily sell for $200 a ticket. The first leg was in Sydney to a sold out 300 ticket venue and by all reports went to plan. This leg wasn't so hard to organise as most of the artists are from Sydney area besides the likes of Nerve, Alex Jones and Wombat, so organising everyone to get there on set time wasn't a big issue. Their second leg was Brisbane, which became a lot harder, and most Sydney artists jumped in a van for a road trip. I think this was a great idea for everyone to bond and become closer, and down the track build good relationships. The Brisbane show ended up getting out of hand and shut down with some sort of riot happening and the police arriving. There was roughly a crowd of 800, and I think organising this many people was too much for someone without experience in the field. It ended up making the news, so in the end got great publicity anyway.
I've walked outside, like back into watch the stage, and then there's nobody there, pretty much. Like the whole crowd is gone, there's nobody on stage. I'm walking back, I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I'm like, yeah, they shut the venue down, there's a massive riot going on out the front. And I was like, what? And I've walked out the front, and yeah, there's, lo and behold, a riot happening with heaps of cop cars and everything. I don't know the actual story, I never got it explained to me. All I know is I think security was kicking some guy out. That guy spat on him, maybe, or pushed him. Done something to that extent, and then it kicked off. Like security maybe threw him around, got rough with him. The crowd followed, just follow the leader type of thing. And then, yeah, cops came, everyone started doing the whole fuck the police chant. Other people were joining in, and it just turned into like 600 kids out the front of the street just versus the police, I guess.
The third leg of the festival was in Perth, and by all reports again went to plan as Base Cadet jumped on board to help with things like organising flights, accommodation and proper security. They added a few local names like Cortex and Asthmatic, and the show looked amazing. For a lot of artists on this festival, it was the first time they had ever met each other, and some of them formed relationships and made music down the track. It's crazy to think of the music we might have never gotten if this festival didn't go ahead. The amount of talent that has come from this era is insane, and to think they all performed on the same lineup back then is crazy to think. I think this festival was a pivotal moment in pushing the Australian hip-hop scene forward, and to everyone that performed and helped organise should be extremely proud for being part of such a legendary moment. Moments like this deserve to be documented, and the lessons these artists would have learnt from this will stay with them forever and be used in the future to grow their careers. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, comment and share. I'm going to leave you with a quote that Chillinit told one of the media platforms in an interview from the festival. The whole night for me is about showing the fans that no matter where you're from or who you are, we can all come together with music. I want to do this festival once a year in each state till it's bigger and bigger. Our scene has so much dope lyrics and talent coming out of it. The wordplay is crazy in Australia, and I think we should be noticed more than just the fact. Plus, there is no right time. When you have a vision and passion, there's no time to wait. So if you want something bad enough, you got to go get it yourself.